State Control Alchemy. My friends, in this video, we are diving in to the Hermetic Principles and how the alchemists use the tools of mind, body, and breath, right, to take command of their state and start to learn to be the sovereign, the master within themselves, and soon to be master of their reality. My friends, the last three videos, or recent video, Stop Leaking Energy, which was a really great dialogue. Go check that one out, as well as the last video on the mind, body, prana feedback loop are kind of precursors to this video. What we talked about in them were essentially the ways in which we leak energy, how to take command of life force control, and how to start programming our dominant field through the mind, body, prana feedback loop. It was kind of the foundation of alchemy and what alchemists are essentially. This video right here though, I want to apply that to the locked consciousness in which we face, emotional intelligence, law of polarity, and law of rhythm, and maybe get into some yoga philosophy at the end there. Anyways, my friends, thanks for joining me here. This is Reality Files. I'm Christian, and I'm stoked to share this with you. Please hit that like button if you find this inspiring, and share this with someone you think it will impact. It's the only way to get this kind of message out there for me right now. So thanks for being here. If you guys want to dive deeper into the breathwork training, I have a free guide, link in the description for that, as well as an intensive training program. We're going to start opening up a group very shortly here, so apply for more info on that, link in the description as well. Let's dive in, my friends. So what I mainly want to hit on here, my friends, is wisdom. Hold on, let me get this so you can see what I'm writing. Here we go. Wisdom. Wisdom is learned through patterns of gaining power and losing power, through growth and loss, essentially, through pain and then release. Okay. This kind of wisdom that I'm talking about is the alchemist wisdom, because the more experiences you have of fucking up, the more you learn what not to do. And furthermore, the more you learn about yourself, about the breath, about the body, about the mind, about what works for you, about your own disposition. This is constantly gaining wisdom. The real wisdom that the alchemists or the hermeticists apply is A, how to control their state of being. Okay. This is life force control. This is what yogis are all about. This is what the ancient sages and mages and philosophers are all about, is life force control. And essentially what that looks like in the body is poised presence and openness, calmness. In the mind, clarity, pureness, and expansiveness, single pointed, right? In the breath, deep, attuned, aligned. When we have these three things working in harmony together, right, what happens is our vibrational field starts to ascend, right? Our frequency completely shifts, and we start dynamically circulating prana through the being. We start charging the being and holding power. Life force is energetic potential. This is charging our vital magnetism and giving us the capacity to influence our state of being powerfully, right? This kind of alchemy becomes really important, really important, because it's the foundation for the self-knowledge you're going to need to operate in this world consciously, sovereignly. Okay. Right now, in the world, this is where wisdom and locked consciousness are going to kind of merge. Just bear with me here, my friends. Locked consciousness. So I look out into the world, and the majority of people are in a really unfortunate state. We've never been educated on the breath. We've never been educated on the mind and how the mind or psychology influences the body, feelings, how it's all interconnected in this vehicle. And furthermore, most people have zero awareness of prana or life force that is flowing through them or not flowing through them. And because we don't have any of this literally kindergarten level knowledge of self, we exist in locked consciousness. Please share this video with someone you think it's going to help. Locked consciousness, my friends, is essentially where the body is separated. Our presence is, we're not present in the body. We're not inhabiting the body, right? Our energy is just trickling through us because the body's all tight, it's fidgety, right? There's a lot of toxins that need to be purged that we're holding on to, right? In the energy, the prana is not circulating correctly. The nervous system is all out of whack. You're in neurotic patterns, tapping your foot, impulsive actions, just like constantly sabotaging in ways. And your mind is just scattered aimlessly all over the place, you know, scrolling through Instagram, watching another Netflix show, putting all these unconscious programs into the mind, right? And the thoughts have no control, right? It's super hard to learn to control the mind because it's so subtle, but we can learn to control the breath and the body first, which brings the mind under our dominion. We're going to get into that, and that's what we have been getting into. But locked consciousness, my friends, I look out here, people are on their phones scrolling, tapping their foot, horrible posture, shallow breath, and they wonder why their life sucks, why they feel tight, why they have low energy, why they feel scattered, why they're not successful, right? They're going out till 3 a.m., watching like random movies, scrolling through YouTube, seeing what the algorithm throws at them, like just putting all this garbage into their field. Their mental diet's horrible. And the energy, the prana, which is power, life force is power, is not flowing properly. And when we don't have potency, when we don't have power, life gets more and more dull. We don't have the energy or will to do what our deepest self wants to do. We're not inspired. We don't think beyond just base instincts, right? Because we're in base centers of the body. The consciousness is locked into consumption, into busyness, into fear, into worry, into attachments. And then you get into a relationship if you're a man and you wonder why she leaves you, because you're not centered in the source of you. You have all these fear and attachments that are unconsciously ruling your actions. You're in locked consciousness, right? We're living in base instincts of the body, right? That anxiety, that fear, those frantic thoughts, those scattered thoughts, those lower thoughts that are all about this earth plane, survival, getting what you want, egoic thoughts, like these kinds of things, that doesn't feed life. But as you have more power and your energy ascends through using the tools, right? And you consciously direct that field into the vibration you seek, right? You start to rise out of locked consciousness. You start to liberate life force. And what happens, right, is that you have the standpoint, the foundation, essentially to create as you will, right? You have power again. Power is the antithesis to stagnation, right? When we don't have power, life feels dull, but when we do have power, when we do have potency, we want to go follow our deep drives. We want to go follow our heart. We want to go be bold, take that trip, build that business, do that thing. We're inspired by life. We have libido. We have this magnetism about us, right? And it feels great, and that's what we want. And even deeper, my friends, all of our emotions stem from the root of progress or transformation or lack thereof. For some reason, the depth of our being here on earth plane is programmed, it is set towards transformation. We are here to constantly be transforming, to constantly be growing. And no matter where you are on that path, when you feel stagnant, when you can't overcome the fear, or you can't get out of the locked consciousness to move forward, you feel powerless, you feel like a victim, all this victimhood mass movements going on out here, right? Life just becomes more and more dull because you're not growing. Your emotions become angry, resentful, envious, right? Negative self-talk, self-sabotage. All these things are emotional reactions to the fact that you're not transforming. Think about the last time it's like, wow, I did really good today. I actually went to the gym and I fed myself well or something. You feel fucking great. Your thoughts are uplifted. Your energy's uplifted because you made progress. Your emotions literally are the notification of progress or need of progress in a way. And we can't make progress unless we're an alchemist, consciously or unconsciously. I encourage you to become the conscious alchemist out here, my friends, to learn how to wield the power that makes progress, whether that's towards wealth, abundance, love, you know, your higher self, your inner self, whatever it is, my friends. There's so many things. So locked consciousness, getting back to that, my friends, we're locked in the body, tapping the foot, energy's all out of whack, energy's not flowing right. Furthermore, when we're in locked consciousness, we're just playing out past programs. Seriously, we're the slaves to the past versions of ourselves. We're slaves to, you know, those past programs could be how you think, your mental diet per se. right? How you feel like throughout the day. It's just cycles that you've programmed into your field. What you do, how you act, what you eat, all those things, past programs. You're just living out a program. You're not consciously creating your reality because you're not realizing that you're free, because your energy is not vibrating at the level of inner freedom, right? So past programs, base centers of the body locked into there. And furthermore, this is the kind of what I want to hit on in this video, getting into the Hermetic Principles, is lack of emotional intelligence creates locked consciousness. Someone drop a time code, please, because we're about to dive in. We're about to dive. So the biggest way that we leak energy, besides, some of the things previously discussed, is that we have no understanding of the laws that are governing this world and ourselves. The two main laws I want to work with here, my friends, are the law of polarity and the law of rhythm. Without awareness of these, right, in day-to-day life, in literally everything, in how you grow your business, in your relationships, in how you're feeling in every moment, all of it, right? If we don't have awareness of this, I'm just gonna write a note down for me. If we don't have awareness of this, we're screwed, because we're gonna be constantly swung by the pendulum. Let me give you an example of this. Most people, let's say, like, for instance, I'm going through heartbreak right now. And in that heartbreak, right, that's a polarity, okay? Let me actually introduce polarity and rhythm first. Law of polarity. Everything has two poles. There's hot and there's cold, right? There is courage and then there's fear, right? There's feminine, there's masculine, there's hard, there's soft. Everything is dual, period, all of it, okay? The law of rhythm piggybacks on the law of polarity, and what that says is that there is a constant oscillation between the poles. You see, where does hot end and cold begin? Nowhere, okay? In fact, the two poles are the same exact thing. Have you ever experienced a state of deep sorrow and deep joy almost simultaneously? Like the oscillation's so fast? It's because it's the same exact emotion, actually, at different polarities. It's the same vibration, right? At different polarities. So the law of rhythm, this oscillation, right, between the poles, rules everything in life, everything on earth plane, okay? You're born and your rhythm goes up, your pole goes up, and then you hit middle age and you start to wane, right, with the moon as it wanes, and then you die, okay? And then you're born, okay? You birth a business and it grows, it hits its pinnacle, and then it slowly begins to die or transform, okay? Spring comes, we get to the height of summer up here, right? We fall with the fall, we enter winter. Everything is in polarity. It's the seasons of life, and it's happening all around us all the time, okay? If you feel a lot of pride one day, let's go into this, for example. If you feel very prideful, you feel really good about yourself, you kicked ass, you showed them who's boss, or whatever it is, right? It's only a matter of time before you feel equally shamed and embarrassed about yourself. Okay, because they're polarities. Yesterday was feeling quite low. Okay, I was feeling quite low, had a lot of emotions coming up. And I was holding that masculine consciousness and really letting myself feel them deeply, letting them come through me. Why was I doing that? Why? Because I understand the law of rhythm. I understood that I was at a very low point in my law of rhythm. I'm going through a lot, letting go of a lot of attachments, holding myself, all those things, right? I understood I was at a low point, and I didn't attach to it. I didn't attach to the fact that I was at a low point. I was just like, it's kind of like this divine indifference in a way. Divine indifference. Because I understood that my spirit, the spirit, was dancing behind it all. That in fact, I'm going to be so overjoyed by this transformation, because this cycle is transforming and it's about to level up and then level up, and I'm overjoyed by it. It's in fact starting to love those lows and not hold and not resist them. You see, in the past, I would have resisted that because I didn't have enough emotional intelligence. I would have resisted that low right there, right? And then The next time I felt inspired, I felt high on life, you know, I like had good ideas flowing, making videos, meeting new people, or traveling or something. Next time I felt high on life, I'd hold on to it and try to just keep it, because I just want my life to stay at this fucking level, right? And then the more I hold on to it, the more energy I leak, and the less full life becomes. Life becomes bleak and empty. You're not emotionally connected because you're no longer aligned with life, okay? So we're trying to hold on to the high and then resist the low without feeling either of them. What happens is we basically neutralize, like in the bad sense, we neutralize polarity. When we neutralize polarity, life is no longer flowing through us. We're in combat with the universal law of rhythm, right? If we're resisting aging, right, we're never gonna be open to how beautiful that phase of your life can be and what that phase of your life holds for you, the energy that's there for you. We're gonna be resisting it and trying to stay young and beautiful and all these things. And that's just gonna exhaust us and make life seem dull. It's gonna lower your life force. It's gonna leak energy, okay? If all of a sudden you have a lot of money, this is a great example too, right? All of a sudden all this abundance just came to you, business is going great, all these different things, but be prepared for winter, which is right around the corner, which is coming right here. And the more that you get excited by the top, the more you're gonna despair at the bottom. The more you despair and get excited, the more life force, energetic potential you are materializing into this emotion, right? When in fact, like, yes, you can have like deep contentment and satisfaction with the things that are coming into your life, but not be identified with them. Because as we get more excited about creating more wealth per se, and we're identifying with it, you know, I go through these patterns all the time. It's why I'm speaking on it, my friends. It's because you go up and down, up and down, up and down all the time. But if you don't have awareness of this pendulum swinging, you're just constantly, you're gonna be a fucking slave to it your whole life, because you're not creating wisdom, right? So all of a sudden you got a lot of money. You know, a few months back I was making some good money. Okay. We're up there, we're getting all excited. We start identifying with it. All of a sudden then you start going downhill, right? And then you're worrying, you're not creating the same amount of income. It's not flowing in the same way anymore. You're getting more scared, frantic. You're like going outside of you to figure out how to do this, wasting like life force on, you know, forcing things. We're not trusting in spirit any longer. We're not doing the thing that created the manifestation in the first place, right? When we're losing that vibration coming down here, all of a sudden we're leaking all this energy on busyness, scarcity, worry, and fear. When in fact, right around the corner, it's coming again, right? But it's because we're identified with something, we attach to it. The more money we make, the more we want to fucking hold on to the pile behind us, right? Having possessions possesses most people in this world because they don't understand this law and they can't let life flow. Without being able to let life flow, you're fucked. But most people can't let life flow because they A, don't have self-reliance, and B, don't understand the universal laws. When you have self-reliance, wealth starts to wane. What do? Well, you go into your prayers, you ask Great Spirit for the abundance that's meant to flow through you. You put in the work, like consistently in that deeper place, but you don't move on that fear and worry, right? And all of a sudden, you know, the low comes and it's like, whatever, I'm here, you know. It's actually more liberating for me because I have less possessions that are trying to possess me, less attachments, you know. And then there's only up from there. When you're at zero, you have a ton of time, awesome. Fuck yeah, it's beautiful. Because when you're wealthy and you have no time anymore, you're gonna be like, fuck, I wanna be broke and have all the time in the world again. You know, it's just these pendulums that we're constantly resisting, okay? Now let me give this into an application. Okay. Right now in this world, we are programmed on, let's call it the pill. We are programmed on the pill mentality. My pen's not working any longer. I'm just gonna call it pill mind. The pill mind, okay? Oh, shit's going bad. I don't feel good. I kind of feel sickly or I feel low. You know, I'm gonna go get antidepressant pill because that will fix the problem. Then I don't have to be down there. Oh, and then I avoid and I escape unconsciously from a low point that's giving birth to the to the high point, and I'm identifying with the low and resisting it, right? And then I'm trying to take a pill, which is going to bring me back to the high point, which is in fact fake. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel full. You are perpetuating a problem. It's the pill mind, that bad things are bad. But we have to realize, my friends, the alchemist doesn't put bad or good on anything. He knows all truths are half-truths. And what he also understands is that what most people deem as bad, if you can sit with that, feel it fully, go through it, right? You will gain in wisdom, you will gain in energy, right? You will gain in life force. But we can't identify with the low times or the high times. Yes, we can be content with them. You know, yes, the low times kind of suck. But can we honor that law of rhythm happening? Trust in something higher. Get out of this pill mind so that we actually hold the power. Furthermore, my friends, this pill mind comes from fear. It comes from fear and also lack of ability to do alchemy, lack of ability to control the state, and lack of wisdom. We don't understand the laws that are governing this reality in all ways, shapes, and forms. We're constantly at odds with them. Instead of in the low times, dancing and laughing at it and then feeling it fully, and in the high times, just being content with it. It's even-mindedness, my friends. It's divine indifference. Here's the next point we're getting into. The seer and the seen. Okay. The seen world, my friends, is the feminine. Okay. The seen world is the feminine. The seer is the masculine essence. The seen world is everything that changes. Okay? The stars that move above your head, right? Your body, every cell is different than it was 7 years ago, right? Your thoughts. Think about your fucking mental outlook today versus 5 years ago. Your mind's constantly changing. It's really hard to stick to a purpose when everything's constantly changing, right? Your business constantly changing, your wealth, your relationships, everything you possess in this reality, your body, mind, thoughts, and emotions, all seen. It's all changing. But if we don't understand that those are all subject to the law of rhythm, to the law of change, right? Well, if we don't realize that, then we're going to attach to the seen world and identify with it. And when we identify with the seen world, we leak energy really badly. Identifying with the seen world, okay, in that feminine, in a way, well, it's not really bad, but we need to understand how to hold the seer and be in the seen. We'll talk about that. So the seen world, everything changing, okay, the seer. The seer is the empty, superior self. The eyes of observance that are eternal, right? We have this concrete self-image of who we are, that we think like, this is who I am, this is what's going on. That's been constantly changing. But why we have that conviction, I believe, is because we have these true eyes, the true self, the most inner, the most deep, maybe the most high self per se, right? That's always just the witness to this reality, that empty, superior self. That is where you're from, and that's where you will return to. But here's the thing, when you can realize the seer and meditate and practice being in the seer, right? You create a relationship and access to the unseen world. This is what the alchemists and the magicians know. Because when we have the eyes of the seer, right, we're slowly awakening to the fact that that's God's eyes looking through us. And as we slowly awaken to that fact, we start to rise above the throes of the laws of this world. We start to rise above identification with the seen. The more attached you are or identifying with the wealth and business you're creating, the more anxiety and worry you're going to have about holding on to it. And as it starts to fade, as it starts to fall, right, you're going to have so much pain, inner turmoil, separation from spirit in a way. Okay. But with the eyes of the seer, my friends, from the eyes of the seer, we're tapped into the unseen place, the eternal eyes, I like to call it. When we have this connection, when we practice and create this connection every day through our breath, conscious breathing practice, through our meditation, when we have eyes of the seer, what happens is we create something called divine indifference. That's that idea of the dancing spirit behind it all, that we can actually see what's going on in this reality, right? And the highs and lows don't throw us so much. We don't leak energy. But furthermore, what we also have is lack of identification with the material. Why is that a superpower? When we don't identify with the material, we can create and stand at the cause of thy life. Okay, think about it. When you hold on to something, you don't allow it to transform. You only allow something to transform when you let it go. Okay? If you're holding on too tight, it's never gonna blossom. Okay? We have to go into the cocoon and die and go into the chaos to transform, become the butterfly per se, right? But if we're in the scene and identified with it, we're holding on to what is because it feels safe, it feels secure, the money, the relation, the patterns, the ways of being, the habits. It feels good, we're identified there and we don't want to let it go, right? But when we're identified with the seer and have a new relationship to the scene, right, we can actually, create. We can be like, you know what, damn, this is the kind of life I want, you know, like, because you're a real magician, you're a real creator down here, you know, not a victim down here, but a God walking on earth in a way, a supreme being, the sovereign inside, right? The throes of this world aren't throwing you because you're in the seer, you have divine indifference to it, so you're holding your energy. When you're holding your power, when you're holding your energy, you have the charge and vital magnetism and mental clarity to create into this reality, to create your state of being, right? And have that self-image, have that higher self, right? Be manifest, come into this place slowly. Okay, the seer and the seen creates divine indifference, creates mental, calm, tranquility, peace, you know, and light, like illumination within. All of a sudden, the more you identify with the seer, the more wisdom you're going to be reaping from reality on a daily basis. The more you're going to see, the more you can just know things that are happening because you see so deeply into them because you have eyes. Okay? How this relates to the mind-body prana feedback loop, my friends. All of this relates, all of it's connected here. Is that when you're in the throes of life, you need to understand that your state is your command. It's under your control. And you can go to the breath, you can go to the body, and go to the mind and elevate your frequency. Go watch my last video again. Because whatever frequency we're in is reiterating itself, okay? So if we're at a low point, like I was saying, I'm kind of going through heartbreak right now. And I was at a low point. If I start reacting to that and all of a sudden being like, you know what? Fuck that, fuck her, all this stuff, or, you know, oh, I'm just gonna like throw myself into my work, into my business, or I'm just gonna go, you know, like find new partners, have wild sex, like all these different things that most people do are in reaction to a low that they're not feeling. Therefore, that feeling is untransmuted. Therefore, the energy in your body gets clogged and stagnant. Life force stops pumping functionally. Life force stops pumping functionally, you lower in charge, you lower in magnetism. You have less capacity to identify with the seer and create the reality you want. Furthermore, you lose touch with life. It's way less full, okay? The ego starts taking over, separation starts happening. But if we have wisdom first, we recognize where we are in the pendulum, right? And we go into the breath to open the body and liberate the mind, which creates a feedback loop, which reiterates the frequency of elevated consciousness, higher awareness, you know, deeper contentment, more open eyes. It reiterates that paradigm, that vibrational field over and over and over because we're walking with wisdom. Right? Wisdom says even when things are going great, not to identify with it, because if you identify with it, the moment you do that, you created an equal polarity, boom, on the other side, right? The moment you identify with a low, boom, you reiterate the up and down pattern, the pendulum swinging. But the more divine indifference we have, the more wisdom we have to see what's going on, right? The more capacity we have to, oh, I'm just going to go into my mind, body, and breath, and liberate consciousness, liberate energy, and remind myself of the eyes of the seer. When we're in the eyes of the seer, we are fully inhabiting the body. When we're fully inhabiting the body, we're in alignment with the breath. When we're in alignment with the breath, We're in alignment with spirit, my friends. When we're in alignment with spirit, we have this utter trust, this utter faith in God, you know, in spirit, in whatever you want to call it. And when we have that utter faith and trust, we are no longer a victim to the throes of Earth. Earth is no longer throwing curveball after curveball, and you're reacting to it all, trying to control every little thing, trying to take on all of life by yourself, right? Because you have no faith in something higher, you have no self-knowledge, you have no self-command and alchemy, right? So through this whole process, my friends, we gain the eyes of wisdom. And through the eyes of wisdom, right, and through the alchemist's tools, we can start to stand at the cause of thy life. And when you stand at the cause of thy life, when you stand at the cause of thy life, my friends, life just opens up. You realize that you're the creating one down here on earth plane, right? Things that were horrible no longer seem so rough, right? You're okay with loss, and you're okay with reception or receiving new, attaching to none of it, because you got the eyes of wisdom and you got self-reliance within you. And when you have those eyes, that wisdom, that self-reliance, those alchemical tools, you can do magic. You can literally do anything. You can go anywhere, like create anything. You can have anything you want if you master first the internal state, right? B, start opening the eyes of wisdom, access the seer, and start to build the relationship between the seen and the seer. That relationship I might go into in a further video, how to be in the seer, but fully be in the seen as well. That's Shiva and Shakti dancing together. If you want to see that video on Shiva and Shakti, let me know. Also, please drop some time codes if you're taking notes and watching this again, for everyone trying to click back through this video. Thanks for being here, my friends. Stand at the cause of thy life. Let's be sovereign together, my friends. It's time. It's time for this ancient knowledge to be remembered. It's time for you to remember. It's time for real masters to rise once more. And once we have a few magicians operating out here on earth plane, holy shit, what could we really do together? So exciting, my friends. Thanks for being here. Again, hit that like button. I love the comments. Read them all. They're so inspiring to me. I made this video because of the comments on the last one. And please, yeah, just be you. Breathe deep, my friends. Master the alchemist tools. Access the eyes of the seer, the mind of wisdom. And may you be happy, beautiful, alive, abundant, seen, heard, felt, and in communion with the high. Thanks for being here. Cheers.